Hi everyone, I hope you're doing well. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are preparing samosa pockets. If it's your first time on this channel, feel at home. Start by liking this video, subscribe to the channel and click on the notification bell so that you can be alerted whenever I upload a new recipe. We're going to need 3 ingredients, that is flour, water and salt. We'll start by creating a well in our flour. Put some salt inside, mix, and then a little at a time we're going to add water as we continue to mix. We'll repeat the process of adding the water and mixing and get until we get to the correct consistency. Make sure you watch this video to the end because I'm going to share a few tips and tricks. Remember, this is a channel where you get to find out how you can do things the easy way. I like to call it the lazy girls channel because here we avoid the long processes of doing things and we do them the easiest, simplest, least complicated ways possible. After mixing in your bowl for a while, you're going to transfer your dough mixture to the countertop so that you're able to give it a thorough knead with your hands. As I was saying, towards the end, I'm going to share what I do with my leftover dough, and I'm also going to share what I do with my leftover glue, which we're going to have by the time we're done creating the pockets. Once the dough is ready, we're going to wrap it in cling wrap and set it aside for, let's say, minimum of 30 minutes, just so the gluten can get a chance to do whatever it does. After the time is up, we unwrap our dough. Notice how soft it is. By the way, I mixed it with room temperature water. The water wasn't hot or warm. So we're going to start by rolling it over again. And then we make a long shape, kind of like another rolling pin. Once we have the shape we require, this is actually going to make it easier for us to cut with our knife and get fairly similar sizes for each piece. We need several pieces. I'm going to make 4, so here I'm going to cut my dough into 4 pieces. Just like that. Yeah, I know you can see 5 pieces, but the last 2 pieces, I usually combine them so that they get to the same size as the ones in the middle. So each particular piece gets rolled up into a ball just like so. After that, you roll each piece with your rolling pin, flatten the surface and set it aside. Be careful about stacking them. Tempting as it is, they'll cling to each other and then you'll be in a fix. So once you roll them out and set them aside separately, you're going to oil each piece individually. Make sure you don't miss any spot because if you do, they'll be stuck together and they're going to tear. Take your time and be sure to get the ends as well. After that, you sprinkle some flour on top of it. No particular amount, but definitely a generous amount because we don't want to risk the pieces sticking together. Lay the next piece on top of that and repeat the process. just like before, some oil. All around, especially on the edges. And then some flour, generous amount again. You repeat until all the pieces are done, and then you're going to roll out the pile or stack, or whichever term you prefer to use. You roll it out and flip it over. You do the same to the other side. You'll notice the edges, and as much as they're round, they're not exactly identical, and we need some accuracy over here. So I'm going to lay a plate on top of that and just use it to trim. Now here is where I set that aside, and then later in the video I'll show you what I do with it. It never goes to waste. My pan is quite small, so I improvised. I used a lid, a flat lid. It's directly on top of the flame. Just make sure you use very minimal heat because we're not necessarily cooking this dough at this point. We just want to stiffen it a bit so that it's able to withstand the processes of folding and turning and twisting without tearing or stretching. Basically, it should be able to hold its shape. So what happens here is we wait for the side at the bottom to get a little warm, and then we flip it over and gently peel off the topmost. This is it. Flip it over again and peel. As usual, you do that over and over again until the pieces are done. Thankfully, I only had 4 pieces. So here we are peeling off the last 2 pieces. Notice that I've turned off the heat because I don't need it anymore. The lid is still quite hot. It's going to sort out the last piece as I peel off the second last one. And there we have it. All our pieces are ready. We'll stack them on top of the countertop and then cut them into 4. In other words, we cut the whole circle into quarters. Cut it once, stack them again, cut once more, and we are done. These are the pages of your diary. Anyway, so that is ready for filling in. For the remaining dough that we set aside just before we lay it on our plate, this is what I do. I knead it, roll it out again, and because it's just plain in terms of taste, I'm going to sprinkle some chili powder on it. Not too much, or rather you can put as much as you want really, because we all have different tastes. I just prefer not to have so much chili that it gives me a runny nose. I only put it to make sure I don't feel the food is flat in terms of taste. So once that is done, I roll it back into the dough just to make sure it doesn't fall off. and leave me with plain tasting dough again. Then I slit that piece into strips and basically just toss it all into the hot oil. Fry that for a few minutes. End up with this golden snack. Back to the glue. Add a little flour, some chili, and because it didn't have any salt, we'll sprinkle some onto it. Give it a thorough mix. Once that is done, I'll take my piping nozzle. You don't necessarily have to use a nozzle. You can just use any bag and rip the corner off and stuff it with your quote-unquote glue, and then squeeze that into your hot oil. So here I'm assembling my nozzle. This is the cling wrap we used before, by the way. Just don't feel bothered about getting a piping bag at this point in time. So that just goes directly into the hot oil as well. It gives me this little babies that you see here at the end. Thank you so much for watching this video. Bye.